Sleeper trains are a great way to cover long distances. You peacefully travel throughout the night, all from the comfort of a bed. But not all sleeper trains are created equally. Introducing the Night Mail, the last sleeper train on the island of Sri Lanka, a vital link between the tea country and the big city. This jungle trekking train is filthy, swarming with bugs, and falling apart. It's not going to be an easy night, so join me as I try it out. Hello and welcome back to another video. Today I'm here in Badulla in Sri Lanka and I'm going to be catching the Sri Lankan Railways sleeper train over to Colombo. I'm in a first class berth for this journey, so it's going to be interesting to see what the sleeper experience is like on Sri Lankan Railways. Let's go! Good evening from Badulla, the capital and largest city in Sri Lanka's Uva province. This station opened in 1924 as the final terminus of the country's main line, meaning it recently celebrated its 100th anniversary. Now I just love the traditional vibe of this station, and there's plenty more of that inside. The first thing you'll find in the station is the small ticket office, with queues divided by wooden handrails. Just above this is the fare chart, showing the fixed ticket price for all major destinations. And just next to it, a timetable listing the station's limited departures. There was also a wooden information board, but this wasn't in use today. Access to the platform is granted only upon showing a valid ticket. As I had pre-booked online, I headed straight through. Sri Lanka Railways has a varied fleet of diesel trains. This modern unit has just arrived from Colombo, the island nation's biggest city. Most tourists to Sri Lanka will travel on trains like this one, but these aren't the only trains used in Sri Lanka. This here is the Night Mail, which, as the name implies, travels through the night to transfer the nation's post. The Night Mail also carries passengers, with most of these carriages featuring seats. Safe to say that's not my preferred way to spend the night. But one carriage is First Class Berths, consisting of a private room and a proper bed. There was very little information about this service online, so I was curious to try it out. Eventually, the shunt procedure to prepare this train for departure begins, with my rake of carriages clattering and banging away. Our locomotive for today is a Sri Lanka Railways Class M6, with these locomotives being built in the late 1970s by ThyssenKrupp in what was then West Germany. But enough about that, it's time to get on board. These carriages have just 6 rooms due to their short length. Stepping on board, I actually quite liked the carriage's old-timey interior. But that all changed once I got a first look at the room I'm going to be spending the next 12 hours in. I'll be giving you a full tour of this room a little later on, but first let's take a look at today's route. Today's route will see us covering the entirety of the Sri Lankan main line, through the incredible tea country, just avoiding the city of Kandy before our final descent into Colombo. Journey time is scheduled to be 11 hours and 40 minutes, covering 294 kilometres or about 183 miles. Departure from Badulla is 5 minutes late at 18:05, beginning this long and challenging journey through Sri Lanka. The sun is already beginning to set as we pull out of this city of 50,000 people. Of course, the wide open windows are a great way to enjoy the scenery, but you also have the option of the doors. Take extra care to hold on, as this jungle train is a rough ride. Anyway, let's take a look around the room I'll be spending the night in. It features 2 beds, one above the other, and I'll be honest, I've seen nicer looking prison cells. Each room has a sliding door, though this frequently got jammed. This could sort of be locked using this latch, though again this was a struggle to use. Some parts of the wall and door could also slide down, allowing you to see into the corridor, but I have no idea why you'd want to do this. All rooms have some storage shelves, but mine featured a few scrunched up tissues and a plastic bottle from the previous guests. Lovely. Next to this, you'll find a sink. This was working, but no soap is provided. It's always a good idea to bring your own hand sanitizer when travelling in this part of the world. Now I'm sure it goes without saying that this battered old carriage isn't fitted with air conditioning, and the staff even advised to keep the windows locked shut throughout the night. So to keep cool in this hot and humid climate, every room has a wall-mounted fan. I bet this gets very uncomfortable on a hot summer's evening. Lighting controls can be found up here, with 2 different lights to control the brightness level. You also have an individual reading light by each bed, which was nice to have. The bed and the bathrooms are something I'll cover a little bit later on, and believe me, it is not pretty. But before that, let's enjoy some of the scenery outside before it gets dark. This region of Sri Lanka is characterised by its jungle and dramatic mountains, a perfect combination resulting in some incredible views. We've also been blessed with an incredible sunset this evening too, giving off an amazing vibe. Not long after departing, we arrive at Badulla station. This is the first of our 35 intermediate stops through the night. At this station, we also pass another one of the modern diesel trains on its way to Badulla. After a brief stop, the night mail continues to trundle on, swaying from side to side as it travels along the tracks. It's actually a real shame to be doing this journey in the dark. By day, it's one of the greatest train journeys in the world, and this is the kind of scenery we would be enjoying. This station is Ella, one of Sri Lanka's biggest tourist destinations, known for its chill vibe and stunning surrounding landscapes. The night mail is a little bit unusual in that there are no public toilets found in the corridor. Instead, each room has an ensuite toilet. But it's not all as it seems, with the bathroom having a lock on the outside. Well, that's because each bathroom is actually shared by the 2 rooms around it, an interesting space-saving design that I've not encountered before. As you probably guessed, this was absolutely disgusting and totally filthy. With 2 doors, you have to be sure to lock both of them. However, one of the locks was not working. The toilet has no soap or toilet paper, but you can find a handheld bidet. And when you flush the toilet, it also shoots water all over the wall and down onto the floor. Though the one thing about this toilet that I can't show you is the foul smell, noticeable even when the door is shut. Oh, and don't forget to lock the door from the outside too. With this train swarming with insects that have flown into the carriage, and basically every surface having a thin layer of various types of filth, you're probably wondering what the beds are going to be like. Surprisingly, this is actually the cleanest part of the entire train, probably because these sheets are removed and washed at the end of each journey. Hopefully. These beds had a fair bit of padding. It's not the most comfortable bed I've used on a train, but I've definitely had worse. There was also a comfy pillow, though this did have a few dirt marks on it. Yuck. And do you want to know something totally disgusting? Well, once I finished filming everything around the train, I took one look at my hands to see they were absolutely covered in filth too. Oh my god. As I've got an early start tomorrow, I think it's time to try and get some sleep. Now, I was going to use the ladder to get into bed like a normal person, but there was nowhere to attach it. And given how rough this train was, I didn't want to risk falling off and getting hurt. So I just sort of pulled myself up, and at around 9 PM, I went to sleep. I eventually awake to the sound of mail being unloaded, here in the town of Ragama. This junction station is our last stop before the city of Colombo, with us pulling out of the station at 05:35. I didn't sleep very well last night, and despite lying in bed for around 8 hours, I was frequently woken up by the rough ride and loud noise coming from the tracks. We pass a lot of trains on our way into the city, with many of these heading out to various commuter towns to operate back in during the morning rush hour. So there's no question about it, this sleeper room is disgusting. But what are the other carriages like? These are so-called sleeperettes, which sounds pretty exciting. However, these are actually just reclining seats, with leather in second class and much narrower cloth seats in third class. Now let's talk about how much this journey costs. I booked 30 days ahead as soon as tickets went on sale. For some reason, these first class berths are very popular and sell out immediately. I got the very last ticket. This cost 4,950 Sri Lankan rupees, making it the cheapest overnight train ride I've ever had. It's good value for an overnight train, even if it is absolutely awful. We're now pulling into Maradana, home to the railway signalling centre for the Colombo area. At this station, amongst all the parcels, we can see another night mail train arriving, this one from Sri Lanka's north. From here, it's just a few more minutes until we arrive at the historic Colombo Fort station. In conclusion, this train is absolutely awful. It's disgustingly filthy, falling apart, excessively loud and extremely rough riding. And worst of all, you miss all the scenery. We eventually arrive in Colombo Fort at 06:07, running 27 minutes late. I'm actually really glad I did this sleeper. It might have been objectively awful in just about every way, but if you're looking for an adventure, then it's definitely a thoroughly enjoyable experience. But still, it's not worth missing out on the incredible scenery of Sri Lanka, so click up here now to watch my video on the Udarata Menike, one of Sri Lanka's best ever train rides.